Have you ever turned on the kitchen light at midnight and seen something scatter into the shadows? That tiny creature has survived asteroid impacts, ice ages, and the extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. And it's probably living in your house right now. We're talking about the cockroach, nature's ultimate survivor that's been crawling around for 300 million years. Cockroaches are ancient beyond human comprehension. When dinosaurs first appeared in the Triassic period around 230 million years ago, cockroaches were already old news. Fossil evidence shows cockroach-like insects during the Carboniferous period, over 300 million years ago, when giant dragonflies ruled the skies and early amphibians were just beginning to explore land. These ancient cockroaches crawled through coal forests that would eventually become the fossil fuels we burn today. When the asteroid hit 66 million years ago and wiped out the dinosaurs, cockroaches just kept going. What makes these seemingly simple creatures so incredibly resilient? Their bodies are built like biological tanks. A cockroach can survive being submerged in water for up to 40 minutes because they breathe through tiny holes in their body segments called spiracles that they can close when submerged. This same adaptation lets them survive in vacuum conditions for surprising lengths of time. They can withstand temperatures from freezing to over 120 degrees Fahrenheit. They can even live for a week without their head, breathing continues through the spiracles, and they only die because they can't drink water. And that famous myth about surviving nuclear explosions? It's partially true. Cockroaches can survive radiation levels about 15 times higher than what would kill a human, though not the extreme levels near ground zero. Their sensory abilities are equally impressive. Cockroaches have two types of eyes: compound eyes for detecting movement and simple eyes for light detection. They can see in near darkness and have a 360-degree field of view. Their antennae are incredibly sophisticated chemical detectors, capable of sensing pheromones from potential mates from over a mile away. They can detect air currents with tiny hairs on their bodies, giving them split-second reaction times. Their cerci, those tail-like appendages at the back, can sense approaching predators from behind and trigger an escape response faster than their brain can even process what's happening. They can run at speeds equivalent to a human running 200 miles per hour, and they can change direction instantly, making them nearly impossible to catch. Physical toughness is only part of the story. Cockroaches are incredibly adaptable eaters. They'll eat anything organic: glue from book bindings, soap, leather, hair, other dead roaches, even their own vomit. They have specialized bacteria in their gut that helps them digest cellulose, letting them eat paper and wood. They can survive for a month without food and 2 weeks without water. They're the ultimate opportunists, capable of switching between different food sources instantly. Some species can even synthesize their own amino acids, reducing their dependence on specific food types. Their digestive system includes specialized structures called crop and gizzard that store and grind food, letting them eat large quantities when food is available and survive on stored nutrients during famine. Their reproduction is absolute nightmare fuel. A single female cockroach can produce up to 400 offspring in her lifetime. Some species can reproduce without males through parthenogenesis, creating all-female colonies that can explode in population rapidly. A pregnant cockroach's egg case, called an ootheca, contains up to 50 eggs. She carries it for weeks before depositing it in a safe location. One pregnant cockroach hiding in a cardboard box can lead to thousands within months. They reach sexual maturity in just 6 to 12 weeks, meaning multiple generations can exist in a single year. And they don't need perfect conditions. They'll reproduce slower in cold or food-scarce environments, but they'll keep going regardless. But we've been focusing on pest species, which is actually a tiny fraction of their story. There are over 4,600 known species of cockroaches, and only about 30 are considered pests. The vast majority live quietly in forests, caves, and other natural habitats, never encountering humans. The Madagascar hissing cockroach is a gentle giant that lives on the forest floor, feeding on fallen fruit and decaying leaves. The Australian rhinoceros cockroach weighs up to 35 grams and can live for up to 10 years, one of the longest-lived insects. Some species are beautifully colored, with iridescent shells that sparkle in sunlight. Others exhibit parental care, with mothers guarding their nymphs and even bringing them food. The giant burrowing cockroach builds elaborate underground tunnels and cares for its young for years. The cockroaches in your house aren't there because they're malicious. They're there because we created the perfect environment. Our homes provide warmth, moisture, and food in abundance. We leave crumbs on counters, water in sinks, and cracks in walls that serve as perfect hiding places. We've inadvertently built them luxury resorts with climate control and unlimited buffets. In many ways, human civilization created the pest problem. Before dense human settlements, cockroaches that preferred warm, dark places were relatively rare. Now, they have entire cities of perfect habitat. Cockroach ancestors developed adaptations that served them for hundreds of millions of years. Flattened bodies perfect for squeezing into crevices, fast, running legs with spines for traction, sensitive antennae for detecting danger, and wings for quick escapes when needed. When the Permian extinction wiped out 90% of all species on Earth 252 million years ago, cockroaches survived. When dinosaurs dominated the planet for 135 million years, cockroaches scurried beneath their feet, living in the same ecosystems but occupying completely different niches. And when the asteroid triggered nuclear winter, blocking out the sun and freezing the planet, cockroaches made it through. The key was their ability to eat almost anything and live almost anywhere. When plants died from lack of sunlight, they ate dead animals. When temperatures plummeted, they sheltered underground or in rotting logs where decomposition generated heat, their nature's ultimate backup plan. The relationship between humans and cockroaches is complicated. They can spread disease, carrying bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli from sewers to our food, and they trigger allergies and asthma with their droppings and shed skin. But they've also contributed to science. Cockroaches have been used in research for neural networks and collective behavior, helping scientists understand how decentralized decision-making works. They've even been sent to space to study the effects of microgravity on insect development. Their nervous systems, while simple, have inspired robotics researchers designing swarm robots that can navigate complex environments without central control. Cockroaches have surprising social behaviors that challenge our view of them as mindless pests. They communicate using complex pheromone signals, telling each other where food sources are, warning of danger, and even coordinating group activities. They have personalities. Some are bold explorers who venture into new territory quickly, while others are shy and cautious. They can make group decisions about where to shelter, somehow reaching consensus without any obvious leadership structure. They're capable of learning and memory, able to remember the locations of food sources and navigate mazes after only a few tries. They can even recognize individual cockroaches and remember past interactions. Some researchers believe pest cockroaches have evolved specifically to live with humans. The German cockroach, the most common pest species, isn't found in the wild anymore. They've completely adapted to human structures and can't survive outside. They've effectively domesticated themselves to us, evolving to prefer the temperature, humidity, and food sources found in human buildings. They're smaller than wild species, better at hiding, and reproduce faster, all adaptations to human environments. In a way, we've created each other. Our civilizations created perfect cockroach habitat, and they evolved to exploit it. Humans have been around for 300,000 years, just 0.1% of cockroach history. We think we're dominant, the masters of our planet, but in terms of resilience and longevity, we have a lot to learn. Our civilization is fragile. We depend on complex systems that could collapse from climate change, nuclear war, or ecological breakdown. Cockroaches depend on nothing but being able to eat and reproduce somewhere. Our skyscrapers and cities will crumble to dust, but cockroaches will continue scuttling through the ruins. Climate change is happening, and scientists are trying to predict which species will survive and which will go extinct. The cockroaches? They'll probably be fine. They've survived ice ages and hothouse Earths. They've lived through periods when the planet was nearly entirely frozen and times when it was so hot that reptiles roamed the poles. A few degrees of warming won't bother them. In fact, they might expand their range as more areas become warm enough for year-round breeding. In 100 million years, when humans are gone or evolved into something unrecognizable, when our cities are buried under sediment or eroded away, cockroaches will still be scuttling around whatever world exists then. There's something oddly inspiring about that. We spend so much time worrying about the future, planning and building and hoping our civilization will endure. But the real survivors aren't the ones who build empires or worry about their legacy. They're the ones who simply adapt and endure. Cockroaches don't plan ahead. They don't have grand ambitions or dreams of glory. They don't contemplate their place in the universe. They just are, and they keep being. Their success comes not from intelligence or technology, but from simplicity and resilience. Next time you see a cockroach scuttling across your kitchen floor, take a moment to appreciate the incredible survivor you're looking at. Yes, get rid of it. Call the exterminator, seal the cracks, clean up the crumbs. But appreciate the 300 million years of evolutionary history scurrying across your floor. This insect has outlasted dinosaurs, survived asteroid impacts, endured ice ages, and adapted to almost every environment on Earth. It carries the genetic legacy of countless generations that survived when other species died. The cockroach isn't a monster. It's not evil or malicious. It doesn't hate you. It's just life, finding a way to persist. And in a universe that seems designed to extinguish life, in a galaxy full of dead worlds and sterile rocks, there's something profound about a creature that refuses to quit. They're the ultimate underdogs of evolution, the tiny tenants who will probably outlive us all.